How officers use their discretion in interactions with minority members and decisions to use force are hot-button topics of our time. However, discretion is an issue pervasive in all policing. Let's take a look at discretion and criminal investigations. In proactive policing investigations, police officers initiate investigations rather than simply respond to crimes. Some critics allege that, because of asset forfeiture laws, police target individuals based on more of what assets they can seize rather than other variables. Informants and individuals who are not police officers but assist police by providing information about criminal activity, acting as buyers in drug sales, or otherwise setting up a criminal act so that police may gather evidence against the target. Ethical issues with using informants include getting too close to or engaging in love affairs with informants, overestimating the veracity of the information, being a pawn of the informant who's taking advantage of the system for money or other reasons, and creating crimes by letting the informant entrap people who would not otherwise have committed a crime. Further issues include engaging in unethical or illegal behaviors, letting the informant invade one's personal life, and using coercion and intimidation. Undercover officers may pretend to be drug dealers, prostitutes, johns, crime bosses, and friends, and perhaps lovers, to collect evidence of a crime. They must observe or even participate in illegal activities to protect their cover. In reactive investigations, a crime has already occurred and police sift through clues to determine the perpetrator. Interrogating a person one believes to be guilty of a crime is probably an extremely frustrating experience. How would you get someone to confess? Evidence indicates that deception and skill work more effectively than physical abuse in getting subjects to confess. Let's take a look. Calling the questioning an interview rather than an interrogation by questioning in a non-custodial setting and telling the suspect that they are free to leave, thus eliminating the need for Miranda warnings. Next is presenting Miranda warnings in a way designed to negate their effect, by mumbling or by using a tone suggesting that the offender had better not exercise the rights delineated or that they are unnecessary. Misrepresenting the nature or the seriousness of the offense, for instance, by not telling the suspect that a victim has died. Or the use of manipulative appeals. Or misrepresenting the moral seriousness of the offense to get a confession. Sometimes tactics include using promises of lesser sentences or non-prosecution beyond the power of the police. Or misrepresenting identity by pretending to be lawyers or priests. Or using fabricated evidence such as polygraph results or fingerprint findings that don't really exist. The trouble is that these interrogative techniques can be so effective they result in false confessions. While the Supreme Court has ruled that physical coercion used to obtain a confession is unconstitutional, there's no such ruling against deception. Challenges to convictions based on confessions obtained when police investigators deceive the defendant are based on voluntariness. And the test used by lower courts at this point seems to be whether police deception would induce an innocent person to plead guilty. Some researchers estimate that about 5% of confessions are false. Such confessions are one of the leading causes of false convictions. Research indicates that suspects don't always understand their Miranda rights, and juveniles are especially prone to psychological manipulation. It is important to note that police officers do not intend for innocent people to go to prison. What occurs can be considered noble cause corruption in that the officers believe the defendant to be guilty and utilize otherwise unethical means to obtain a confession.